Okay, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic, non-classics. This is episode number 2886 and Doubleshot 2780. With this one, we're pretty much in the way capping off Superman from the 1990s, kind of. We are here discussing Action Comics issue 753 759. Superman Volume 2, 143 150. Avengers Superman 567 to 572. Superman Man of Steel issues 88 to 94. Superman Tomorrow issues 13 15. And all five books issue 1 million. So, basically, we're starting at 753 here. Where, Superman takes on the Justice League. Now, I should also point out, though, that this book has a co-writer for this issue, Mark Millar. Yes, Mark Millar joins co-writer duties, and later on, of course, one of these books gets brand new writers. Yeah, for some reason, the storyline, they had it where... So, he fights the Justice League. Superman is acting completely irrational, especially with his robots. And this story continues over in Superman, the Man of Tomorrow, issue number 13, where, okay, so it's revealed right after he fights him that he goes North Pole. He's, in his big Fortress of Solitude, which looks different than normal depictions, where it's like a big building now. It's a big ice cube that it normally is. And Lois is basically thinking that he's lost all reality, he's basically lost himself, he's completely irrational. Kisses him, you realize, okay, so he's basically acting irrational. And then it turns out the reason why everybody's acting so stupid this whole storyline is because reality is being altered by an alien. Yep. Damos returns for the first time since the storyline, the Damos effect. Yes, he is back here for this storyline. For reasons. He apparently is the one responsible for this whole stupid storyline. Yes, he's the one responsible. And he attempts to alter reality. He destroys Calyx the robot. And they do this in Man Tomorrow 13, which is the third to last issue of the entire series. And then the story continues over in Superman 88, where the robots turn on him. And we're essentially introduced to, we're introduced to this new character in issue 113 called Sharon Vance. And she becomes a vital character later on, don't worry. Yeah, robots turn on him, and he has to fight his own robots. He has to basically deal with Metropolis being under, control. Batman is here. That's our Superman 244. In 167, basically, we have one of the robots, Lex Luthor's basically watching the background. Luthor does practically nothing. This whole storyline. Yes. And reality becomes altered. Wave Rider does not much anything in this whole story. He shows up. Yeah. So, basically, we all start with 53. Then we continue over Man Tomorrow, number 13. Then Superman, Man of Steel 88. Superman 44. Which Superman 567. Action Comics 574 continued with 89, which leads into the one-shot King of the World, which ends this whole entire storyline. Yes, and supposedly with this storyline, Damos is defeated. Yep, he is in fact defeated with this story. Does he return? Well, there's a flashback to Superman Robot, and basically 145 for Superman Flying. This is basically deal with the aftermath, where we have somebody who hates Superman because of the irrational stuff he did. Oh, by the way, prior to the whole thing with the Justice League showing up, he was doing something in the book that I'm actually it was before he revealed the whole thing with Damos. Apparently the writers thought it would be a good idea to rip off Superman for the Quest for Peace. You know, the story, one of the plot threads of the movie is that he gets rid of the world's nuclear weapons. Yes, seriously. We even show him basically throwing stuff in the frickin' sun. I'm why the heck they think it was a good idea? I have no frickin' idea. Okay, so Man Tomorrow is, yeah, basically right starts along. Right, the book is Louis Simonson for the remainder of the series. Yes, Man of Steel is not Louis Simonson, it's Mark Schultz. Yeah, and we have Doug Mankey doing the artwork, which is awesome. I love Doug Mankey's artwork. Superman is still done by Dan Jurgens. There was one issue he didn't do because Ron March did, and then you have still Carl Kitz doing Adventure Superman for now. And action's still basically the same people. Yes. And then we continue over to King of the World, which, yeah, this one shot is written by Carl Kitz, art by Doug Barthor. Yes. And so, and then we did, like, after with the Aftermath and Superman 45, which was nice, the fact they addressed this. And then, this starts a series of one-shot stories. Yes. Where it's back to basics for Superman, no longer, no major storylines. Like, where, like, Lex finds the head of Metallo in a box someplace in Star Labs. It's like he's going to bring him. Yeah, so 145 and 568 of... oh, by the way, 568, Louise Simonson takes the book away from Carl Kitzler. Yes. Don't know why she takes over the book at this period of time. She just did. Yeah, she's a new writer. With Tom Graham doing the cover art, which is really good. And then move over to Action Comics in 55, where it's mostly with Lucy and Lois, with Ron, and of course, also the DEO tells Lex stop the Project Green that they're working on with the whole Snake Kryptonite. It's ordered shut down, and well, basically, if you attempt to exit it again, you're facing legal action. And then he yells, and then basically he's going to building this effect, they're leaving anyways. Yeah, Lex is that paranoid. And I think the reason why they did this because they probably... Now, my guess is the whole Domos being responsible for Superman being completely irrational. My guess is, and this is my personal theory of why they did that, of why the whole irrational thing, of why everybody's being stupid. I think maybe at the time, the sales had a big dip. That's probably what happened. The sales had a slip, so we need to fix it. Like, oh, let's retcon was an alien. Let's retcon where Superman's an alien influence, which seems like a dumb retcon, but was like easy way to explain his irrational actions. Yes, so then we move on to Superman Man of Steel number 90. Where we deal with a return of a Superman robot. Yes. A very nice story. It's one last one. And I think this one eventually led to, like, Lex giving, I think it was like Superman giving Lex a piece of one of the Superman robots a screw. Just to mess with his head. 146 is Return of the Prankster Toyman. Because why not? Let's do fun stuff. Let's do fun one-shot issues. Me. And then Superman 169, basically, we have the character Riot. You have these weird creatures show up in this issue here. Yeah, this was their return to the book, first time in a while. Oh, Adventure Superman, this will be their second appearance in the book. They appear one more time after this, and that was it. Yeah. Plus, they get the special crimes, they get new members. Badmouth, Fireworks, Freight Train, and Row. Freight Train. And no, it's the same character appears the outside. It's a completely different character. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we continue on to the penultimate issue of Superman Man Tomorrow. I love the title of the story. Superman Conspiracy of 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, because we deal with the whole Riot character. Yeah, Superman's still fighting him. We move on to 756, where he fights this group known as the Doomslayers for this one and only issue. And we also have this other character, Dole the Invincible, who only appeared for this one issue, because let's do standalone stories. I guess that was the plan after the whole big epic story arc that was basically the Superman 24/7 stuff. Like, let's do standalone stories. And then we have Superman Steel 91 and Superman's Watch You, or taking some one-shot character, and then move on to Superman 147, where we finally have an actual story arc. Yes, a 4-part story arc is like, oh, what if for these 4 issues, let's have Ron Martin think of all 4 of these books for a whole month, where it's basically Action Comics, Superman, Avengers Superman, and Superman Steel, all of Ron Martin have each issue where it's like one man JLA, and its opening issue, he becomes like a Green Lantern. Wait next to Hal Jordan. There's another issue, he becomes Adam Strange, which I found that to be interesting, where it's literally just Adam Strange with an S symbol. And then, of course, the story continues of Action Comics 570. It's a similar concept to what happened in Action Comics 314 back in the frickin' 60s. So, yeah, because writers like revisiting the Silver Age stuff. 570, that's the one he basically becomes Adam Strange for an issue, which, okay, interesting. And move on to next one where you have become Hawkman for an issue. Yes, frickin' Hawkman. I'm like, okay. By the way, now Ron Martz did the opening issue of the story. Part 2 was done by Ron Martz and Tom Payer. Part 3, which is from Action Comics, for Action Comics 757, that is written by Tom Payer. And the penultimate issue, in the final issue, he becomes Martian Manhunter. Yes, Martian Manhunter. And that's done by Tom Payer. And he's going by the Martian Manhunter name because why not? Really interesting story. I like the whole concept of this whole thing. Move on to Superman 148, where we had the first appearance of Botox. Oh, okay. So, yeah, basically the Dan Jurgens brought back an old Silver Age character who, get this. Okay, Botox, if you don't know who the heck this guy is, this guy, before I read about this guy, okay, the story behind him is he is based upon Sean Connery. Yep, for one of his most bizarre movies called, I think it was like Zeltex, I think it's called. Yeah, it's from Zardots. Yeah, basically his outfit that he initially wears is from Zardots. Yeah, so why not? So yeah, he's based upon Sean Connery. Let's throw this guy. I think this was the first time he actually appears post-Crisis at this point. Yes. Move on to 571. Where we have Superman dealing with the Atomic Skull. Yeah, where it's like a movie version of... Yeah, it's the second Atomic Skull, where he basically... Because the guy is he's a movie fan, and he thinks the Mitchell thing with Lois can kidnap a couple times by this guy. Yep. 758. Yeah, that continues that low story there, where it's like, oh, let's have Superman once again fight Intergang, because of course he does. Also fight Giant Lobster. In Man of Steel number 93, you have him versus the Treasure from Below. This creature known as Nicoton. It's like, okay, let's just throw in a character here just so we can have Superman fight some creature just to give people back the books. 149 begins another story arc. The second story arc we have post 24/7. Who is Strange Visitor? Yeah, it's basically Sharon who becomes Sharon Vance who becomes Strange Visitor. It's a brief 4-part story. It starts with 149. It continues over in Adventure Superman 572, while dealing with also a character named War. Yeah, this is actually was the character's debut appearance, and he appeared. This actually was his final appearance. He only appeared twice. And then in Action Comics 759, it's part 3 of the story, Shock Treatment, where let's have our team up with Superman taking on the Parasite, and then Superman is still 94. This is chapter 4 of the story, where they continue to find the Parasite. Of course, we eventually find out she actually really is Sharon. And then basically the finale for this is in Superman 250. We find out that, well, actually the finale what was in Man of Steel 94. 250 is just a standalone issue. Love the cover here of Superman with a bald eagle on his shoulder. Classic. It's Superman vs. Brainiac for an issue, which is nice. I love that. Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's pretty much all the main issues. Yep. Yeah. I gotta say for oh, by the way, there is one more. There is Man of Steel 15. Yeah, the last one I read. This was a Day of Judgment tie-in. Kind of odd though. They have the final issue of this book tied to Day of Judgment, and it's not done by Louis Simonson. Jay Matias takes over this book. The Day of Judgment is basically trying to choose a new Spectre, which turns to be Hal Jordan. This is basically this book's title tie into it. And in case you're curious, though, was this the only Superman title tied into this? Of the 5 Superman titles, this is the only one. Yeah, Action, Superman, Avenged Superman, they want nothing to do with this. Superboy also had tied into it too. It's basically take on the Enchantress and Sarah Bantry and Necron. Yeah, the Enchantress become a villain again for this issue. But that's all the main issues per se. But there's still one more thing to talk about before we close this video out. So let's see how long goes the video. Oh, 17 minutes, not bad. Yeah, there is one more thing discussed here, and that's DC 1 million. All 4 1 millionth issues. Mm-hmm. The first started with Man of Tomorrow 1 million, which is basically dealing with the character Solaris, who, yeah, basically fights him in this story here. Yeah, he appears in pretty much he appears on all the Superman 1 million issues. Mm-hmm. He appears in Action Comics 1 million. Now, who does these 4 1 millionth issues? Does Louis Simonson or Jane DePias? No. 1 million for Man of Tomorrow is done by Mark Schultz. Action Comics is done also by Mark Schultz. Oh yeah, and also uses the middleman in the story, which is nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And let's see. We have Superman 1 million. That's done by Dan M. and Annie Lenning. Artwork by the late, awesome Norm Brayford. Well, the book was actually really good. It's Superman the 1 million. It's what's Superman 1 million in his costume, which I thought was quite nice. The Spy-Fact book basically deals with it. Just for some reason it doesn't have Solaris in it. As for the Man of Steel 1 million, yeah, this basically also has Middleman here too. And I think I'm Vandal Savage. Okay. He also gets appearance for Justice League A. Yep. And that's pretty much the main issues in a nutshell. The four 1 million issues are fantastic. Oh, Superman of Steel 1 million. It's on by Carl Ketzler and Jerry Ordway. That's who basically does the writing for this book. With Anthony Williams, the artwork. We have Gene Ha and Pat Garthy doing the awesome cover here. I gotta admit, the issues, the 24/7 stuff is not that good, but afterwards it gets much better. I love One Man War and I love Strange Visions. I think those 2 strokes are fantastic. But 1 million is also really good as well. I give the 24/7 stuff which is basically starting from Actionomics 753. That's where I'm starting with this one. Which takes up 753, Man of Tomorrow 13, Man of Steel 18, Superman Volume 2 14, Adventure Superman 587. So it's roughly just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those remaining 9 issues of the story, I give that an 8.5. Though I'll actually just give it 8 because I wasn't really a big fan of the story itself. But the Aftermath, oh my gosh, the Aftermath was so good. I love the Aftermath. Yep. But yeah, those of you curious about Mr. Mark Schultz, who takes over the Man of Steel title. Like, how long does he stay on the title for? Does he stay on for the man of the book? I think he does. Because I've never seen him also on some Action comic stuff. Yes. So apparently his first book he wrote for DC was, Man of Legend of Tomorrow number 50. So, for Man of Steel, he took over issue 87, and he would do that book up until the final issue of the book. Yep. Of course, yes, he would do 1 million as well. But this is like the only ongoing series he ever did that he did the writing news for. Like, really? Yeah. He's also an artist, too. He just did Legend Tomorrow 150. Issue 50. Yeah. He also cover art, too. Not much of that one, but yeah. Man of Steel will technically be his. Now, he's not a bad writer, per se. Yes. I mean, do I blame him for some of the stuff in the main story itself for 24/7? Partially, yes, but I'm not. I think the whole thing with Damas being revealed as one person responsible for it is kind of weird. Now, right after this would be the two City Tomorrow trades, which I've discussed those already, which apparently the soft reboot of the thing is the fact that Lex Luthor has sold Daily Planet back to Perry White for $1. Pay a buck, planet's yours. Yep. And that begins the whole storyline of that. And it starts with issue 151. Yeah, that's where it starts with. That's when we have Jeff Loeb take over the book at that point in time with the writing duty for Superman and Mike McKean on the artwork. Yep. It's almost like basically they did a soft reboot, probably because they needed probably a quick sales boost for Superman, and I read the City Tomorrow, so I thought it was really good. And the two trades of it, you can check it out basically on my previous comic corners. But, excuse me, those who are very curious, like, okay. Well, so you think, okay, so since we got up to the City of Tomorrow trades, which I'm very happy I got to that point. So I've been thinking, okay, what's next? Well, for basically City of Tomorrow, it collected for the two trades, collected Action Comics 760, 768, Adventure Superman 573 to 581, Superman Volume 2 was 151 to 159, The Man of Steel from 95 to 103. Which those two trades kind of covered, basically was not collected in Superman No Limits Endgame, because Y2K was collected there too. So basically, in the case of the first volume for City Tomorrow, it basically took No Limits Endgame and combined that into one. To that do as part. That is, let's see, that's mostly in Volume 2. Yes. Critical Edition definitely is too. Yep. So you think, okay, what's next? I mean, I'm looking basically like what could possibly be next. Well, basically I'd say as of right now, what was published between President Lex and Our Worlds of War. That's obviously next. Yep, but there's not really like a lot left for Superman. Like for dual numbering, not much left. So I'm gonna end it here. So basically, it's the only thing I had ready to go. So I figured I'd talk about this one. So post the one shot issues they did, I give those a 9. Strange Visitor, One Man Justice League, give those also a 9, and also Man Tomorrow, the 1 million, that I give that also a 9 as well. Okay, so yes, that's pretty much a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do that dislike. But before I go, final thoughts on Man Tomorrow, because this video I just finished reviewing, basically Man Tomorrow. Excellent series. I was big, aside from the 24/7 stuff they did for Superman. The stories that came before and after that were really, really good. It's a shame the book had to end in 15 issues. It's not that long of a series. And the only reason why I review it like every single time. Here's the weird thing with this book. This book was published quarterly over the course of about a little over 5 years. Yes. Do I think Superman needs a book like that today? No, not really. The only reason it was published at the time because DC need more extra bucks for people to spend stuff. Okay. Yeah, just like how Batman had Batman Chronicles, Superman had Man Tomorrow, which is no one's nicknames. And you think, wait, Man Tomorrow, wasn't that also a movie? Yes, it was. A line of DC animated movies that just ended with the Crisis for Earth's 3-part movie. Yep. So, there's that. So, until you see the next video, whatever that's going to be, but I do have a stream coming later today, okay? Bye.